Well, it's beginning to look like our friends on the left are going to have to cancel their nuclear strike parties and face up to yet another foreign policy victory for the Trump administration. I'm sorry, guys. I know how much you love making those little stuffed mushroom clouds for the hors d'oeuvres platter. This is turning into a real problem for the good people over at Trump Hatred HQ. Seems like everything this guy touches stops turning to shit. What is going on? Well, I wouldn't be me if I didn't have a theory you haven't heard yet, so here goes. Donald Trump is not a political figure. Oh, sure, the 1,000 snarling chihuahuas attached to his ankles think he's a political figure, but he's not. Donald Trump is a cultural figure. He's been globally famous for 40 years, and not as a politician. He wasn't even distantly related to politics. He's been known all over the world as the avatar of capitalism. He's Bruce Wayne. He's Tony Stark. He's the rich guy with the hot wife and the private jets and the golf courses and houses all over the goddamn world. He's a walking symbol of what can be done with enough money and enough guts to spread that money around. What he is not is a friggin' civil servant. He's not a Washington hack who just wants to get reelected. And he's not an academic whose claim to fame was organizing poor people so that they could yell at rich people. Trump is rich people. And in case you're wondering, most people in the world don't hate rich people. They want to be rich people. And their leaders want to keep living in the palace. Take Kim Jong-un, for instance. Here's a 36-year-old guy who inherited a friggin' country. He didn't see that coming. What would you do if your dad suddenly died and left you North Korea? Oh, I can do anything? I can be friends with Dennis Rodman? Or blow up Guam? It's very interesting and intriguing. Look, it's been awkward, but Kim is growing up. You think he wants to be the supreme leader of a primitive, oppressive shithole? Or get his ass blown up by the world's baddest ass military? I don't think so. I think he wants to live long and prosper. I think he wants to be buddies with Donald Trump. You see, the world may hate our foreign policy, but they love our culture. When the Berlin Wall was falling, I used to say that Reagan didn't kill the USSR. Coca-Cola and Levi's jeans killed the USSR. Capitalism killed the Soviet Union, and it was allowed to happen because a cultural hero, rather than a political ideologue, was at the reins in the good old USA. I've been in 100 homes where older conservatives live. They all have the same picture of Ronald Reagan on the wall. He's not in a suit signing legislation. He's in the cowboy hat riding a horse. Reagan was John Wayne. He was Gary Cooper. He was the incorruptible good guy who would set things right and then ride the hell off into the sunset and leave you the hell alone. He was the cultural embodiment of liberty and fair play. Trump is the cultural embodiment of epic success. Let's get real, boys and girls. Free enterprise is on the march all over the world, especially in Asia. And the name Donald Trump has been there all along. There's a Trump Tower in Manila. There's one in Istanbul. There's one going up in Java and one in Bali. There's even one in Calcutta, the very symbol of poverty, the place where Mother Teresa washed the feet of the poor while they starved to death. Calcutta has a Trump Towers. The anti-Trumpers who watch this will say, he didn't build those places, he licensed them to use his name. In some cases, that's true, which makes my point. That means that in countries that are trying to rise out of poverty, attaching the name of Donald Trump to something is seen as good luck and good business. How perfect is the symmetry of this? Reagan called bullshit on Soviet communism, and a divided country came back together. Trump called bullshit on North Korea, and within weeks, Kim had sent his charming sister to do some damage control at the Winter Olympics, which just happened to be right next door across the DMZ. And now, another divided country is coming back together. All that Donald Trump needs to do is take these problematic international leaders aside, loop his big arm over their shoulder, and have a little talk with them, mano a mano. And oh my God, not like Obama would have. Now see here, we all need to be responsible members of the international community. We need to curb our excesses and get a handle on climate change so that our grandchildren can enjoy riding their bicycles to work. Are you kidding me? Developing nations are looking for a path to the modern world, one that does not require them to adopt our political ideology. They've been riding their bikes to work. They would like cars, thank you very much. They see that China is getting rich without becoming a subsidiary of the USA. We don't mess with their political processes. Kim saw the same thing happen right there in South Korea. And yes, Seoul does have a Trump property. Actually, 6 of them. They're called Trump World. When Trump takes a problematic leader aside, all he has to say is this: "So, what do you say we cut all this political nonsense and make some real money?" This will work in North Korea, and it will work in the Middle East too. Take the focus off political and religious ideologies and onto prosperity. These problematic world leaders would really rather not wind up at the end of a rope or the business end of a missile. They just need to be shown the way. This is how we get world peace Donald Trump style. Meanwhile, somewhere in a posh home behind a tall fence, Barack Obama will take his Nobel Peace Prize down from the mantle and tuck it quietly into a drawer.
Thanks for watching. Please consider becoming a supporting member of Blue Collar Logic. You can find the link in the comment section and give what you can.